Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Margaret Pinard. I am a historical fiction and fantasy author, and it's Wednesday, and we've got a September schedule and a new content series. So, I'm calling this a chatty stream because I'm going to have one announcement and then just like catch up because I've been so focused in August that I want to just take a breath. We had a week off as far as you're concerned, and I was very busy. And now I'm back and just can relax for a little bit and ease on into the September schedule. So I've got a stash tea, which Ven might not approve of because it's American. But it's called Le Petit Déjeuner, Breakfast in Paris, something like that. Hey, Eva. Hello. Hello, Jocelyn. Welcome. And Ven is here, summoned by mention of tea. I love it. Okay, so, yeah, relaxing. So I did this big thing for August, Agitation August, and I want to keep the energy going somehow. So I'm going to make it a give yourself a treat energy. So you all know, I suppose, by now that I love to support indie bookstores, shop small, shop independent, shop local. And so I'm going to do something about that support vibe by having a little monthly treat yourself series. And I'm going to pre-order books I'm going to start with 2. We'll see if I can get 2 per month. And if not, I may have to scale back to 1. But I just spent several glorious hours between yesterday and today looking up paperbacks that are coming in October. And I've got 8 choices up there. So what I think I will do is have the first week of the month a call for titles, and people can suggest titles to me, especially indie authors that they know are coming out with a book that month. And then second week of the month, I will have the poll to what we've narrowed it down to, leave it open for a week. Third week of the month, I will have ordered the books that win the poll and then feature the bookstore that I ordered them from. So we get to talk about books that are coming out, and we get to talk about the bookstore that we're supporting and why it's fabulous. So it combines all these things, and I thought that would just be a lot of positivity to put out into the world. So that is the plan. And we can discuss the 8 books that I have possibly on my list for October. And then get down to some chatty Cathiness. I actually tried to do one in advance so that I could show you how it goes, but one of them turned out to be a special order, and it is 3 weeks plus 2 days and nothing. So I called and I canceled that book, and we'll try to get the other book mailed to me. But that was kind of a disappointing beginning because I was so proud of myself for remembering amid all the busy things to try to get the first one going, but then it didn't work. So we'll start in October. We will start in October. Eva's choice of can I say a brew, is Dr. Pepper. I love it. Greg is here. Hello, howdy. Oh, Eva's pointing it out. There we go. Finally, can I talk about it now since Eva broke the ice? So I have new shelves and a new floor, and they just went in last week. I helped my brother-in-law, but he was the mastermind behind all this. He drove up from California and spent a week here installing with me as an amateur assistant. So all kudos to Jason. And this is like 2/3 of my books. I have to get 34 boxes out of my friend's garage. And then it'll probably fill up a bit more. Hi, Mojo. Hello. Good evening to you out east in Poland. Eva says, love it. I think that's about the series plus new books. I know. So this is going to be a good kick because I was listening to Elaine talk about reading what she owns on one of her recent tags. And I do have a lot of books to read and get through. But 2 per month that are new. We'll see. We'll see if that, I mean, I don't have to read them right away. We'll see if I want to. I don't know. Yay or nay? Do you read books right away if you've pre-ordered them? Ben says, I just finished a sci-fi indie arc for October on Sunday. It was really good. Excellent. Sci-fi. What genre of sci-fi? If you had to break it down. Hi, Jim. Hello, hello. Jim had a What Are You Reading Wednesday, which I think is a new series, which is fun. Hello, Catpaw. I've got tea. It's black tea with lavender, vanilla, and bergamot. So it's pretty good. Jim's got his mug of rooibos tea. Excellent. Wheat woot is the whistle sounds. Oh, woo woo, like that. I imagine. I can't whistle, so I can't do that. Can't verbalize that for you. Oh, Van has coffee right now. Needs a caffeine fix. It is early evening for you. Interesting. Interesting. Do we have plans for the evening? Mojo says, ouch. Ouch. For what? For the installation? I actually took off all the band-aids, but I had 4 band-aids on one arm. 2 were from mosquito bites that I couldn't stop scratching. 1 was from the metal of the measuring tape flipping back and slicing me open, and 1 seemed to be from glass shards that wouldn't get out of the area. So I just figured if I put a band-aid on it, would soak in and they'd fall out eventually. So yeah, construction, not really my friend. Eva says, I don't read books right away very often, but every so often I'll be waiting for one and then gobble it up. I love that. Why does that make me think of Thanksgiving? I also can't whistle, so I say it. Yeah, that's a good one. There's no emoji for whistling either, I don't think so. I think we're both out of luck. Oh, okay. I just haven't noticed these. Maybe they're shorts, and so they come up on a different screen, although this one wasn't. What are you reading? It is the 17th episode, but I started doing it as shorts. Okay, I just needed to read further. And now in landscape videos. Gotcha. So now I can see it because I try not to look at shorts because I'm already sucked into those on TikTok. So Ben says, very much inspired by Star Wars. Okay. Rich kid inherits, abandons his dad's company, tries to set up the galaxy's first bounty hunter agency. Okay, interesting. Oh, the books to unpack. Yes. Okay. So not even the installation, just like the book hauling. Yeah. I have taken video of all this, and this is going to be the final secret project vlog to come out at the end of September. I uploaded the videos so far for September, and it was 201. And some of those are very long. So I'm going to do a lot of speeding up, I'm sure. And some editing, obviously, but it's going to be a long one. So hopefully that'll be fun in the mix, because the others were not that long. They're like 8 and 10 minutes or something. Less. Love a good rooibos. Yes, Catpaw and Jim getting along there. Ben says, I did a 14-hour overnight last night, trying to stay awake long enough to hack my sleep back to normal. I see. When my sister and brother-in-law were here, I made them watch K-pop Demon Hunters. So that's why that line is newly recent in my head. Greg says, I have a black raspberry sparkling ice to drink. Sparkling ice. Is that like sparkling water? Like flavored sparkling water? I'm not sure. That'll be some glorious sleep when it's time. Yeah. Ben says, I'm also reading the new Andrew Joseph White book that came out yesterday. It's good, but a rough and dark read. But of course. Eva says, I've been editing a video, finally to the final stage of edits, which is adding stickers, effects, text, music. Yeah, if you're going to do something not just off the cuff and you want it to be fun, it's kind of like writing a book where you have like the chop and you have the clean and you have the volume boost and you have the tint of the photo, and then you have like the individual things like stickers. Yeah, it's like full edit passes. Jim says, I finished Murder in the Crypt by Irina Shapiro today, a great Victorian murder mystery set in an Essex village. Interesting. She's turning out to be a good indie author for you. That's really neat. Eva says, I love your secret project blogs. Yay! Yay for a long one. Excellent. Excellent. I'm very happy about that. I'm going to make them public in October. So yeah, we'll figure out what to do. I think I'll have to mute some of the music because it wasn't monetized, whatever. Mojo says it's a brand of water called Ice. I used to get it for my daughter. Oh, black raspberry sparkling ice. Well, that seems kind of unfair to make your company name Ice. It's like you're taking over an element of nature, but okay. Eva says it's always so messy, and this entire video is ridiculous and also only 4 minutes long, despite taking me days to edit. Oh, yeah. I'll have to make sure I have comments so people know I saw them before they did. I have to make sure I have comments. I saw them before they did. I need a clarification on the them and they. Not sure what's going on. Okay, so back to the announcement and my examples. Let me know if you've heard of any of these. I do want more indie picks, but when I was looking for paperbacks, new in paperback picks for October, Amazon's list only went up to 200. And that was like 5,000 something shelved, meaning they started at 15,000 shelved, and it's however many goes down. So by the time they got up to the 200th book, it was down to 5,000 shelvings, and that's still pretty good. So I'm not finding like the tiny authors. I did look up my friends that I subscribe to on YouTube and see if they have books coming out, and so far as I could tell, none of them did that were not on Amazon. So that is my criteria for this series. So if you have names, dates, titles, please pass them on up. The first one that's looking very promising is called The Menu of Happiness by Hisashi Kashiwai. It's coming out on October 14th. This is the third in the Kamigawa Food Detectives, which has those cute graphic covers, and it's about the cafe where they try to recreate a dish that you remember, and it brought you a certain lovely emotion, or it resolved something emotional for you. This is a translated book, and it was just really sweet. I read the second one. I haven't gone back for the first one, so I'll be going about this bass backwards. But the third one is coming out in paperback in October, so that would be a fun choice. Just sweet, cozy, low stakes, magical realism, Japanese fiction. So that sounds like a good pick. Oh, the comments. Okay, gotcha. I'll have to make sure I have comments so people know I saw them before they did. Okay, you saw the videos before the people saw them. Okay, you're funny. You're funny. Jim says, I'm now reading Garrett's book. Yes, I saw that in the thumbnail. The Brown Yelp Gang, comedy sci-fi about an interspecies intergalactic band, which is very fun. And I think Elaine is still reading that, maybe? She was still reading it a few videos ago, so I'm not sure if she's finished. By the peasant! Oh, come on now. Yeah. Mojo has 2 out tomorrow. Are they where are they available? That's the first question. Because some people, Deborah Carr has one out next week, which is September, which is no longer a pre-order for October. So, but let me know. I think you're wrenched, so you can tell us in the comments. Eva says, this video I'm editing mentions a potential pre-order time frame. It'll only be available by direct order, though, I think. Direct order from, is it Lulu or is it, it's not a website. Where did your others go from? If it was Amazon? Bass backwards. Yeah, I think that's back. That's what I remember hearing. Links, por favor. Yes. Cat Pasta says the one I'm waiting for is Can Lose All That We See or Seem mid-October. I did see that on the list. Can Lose a big name. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Next one on my list was A Little Holiday Fling by Farah Heron. I think she's a British writer. I don't know what her background is, but I've seen the name before. And her book, A Little Holiday Fling, comes out on October 21st. So there's some very genre, some very seasonal things in here. And holiday romance might be a nice one to store away for December. Direct from me, where I'd buy the stock. I could put it on Ko-fi or a website, though. Oh, okay. Is it a kid's book or is it a fantasy? I remember different things that you've talked about. So let me know which one we're focusing on. Another one is, this one sounded good. The Hearth Witch's Guide to Magic and Murder by Kiri Callahan, Kiri. And this is coming out October 7th. And this sounded like a little bit like the Stacy Slavinsky that I got last year on pre-order, but with a little bit more heft, a little bit more stakes. So that was a good contender. Cover Story by Mary McFarlane. Mary McFarlane is one of those authors who is consistent with her romance novels coming out pretty regularly, but I've never read any. I think I've almost bought a couple of hers, but I've never read. And it's like Scottish writer. Like I feel like I would probably like her comedic romances, but I haven't pulled the trigger. Cover Story is it's a fake dating trope, but it's with someone who's, I think, like a journalist, and so they're also like making it a pun, and I was like, okay, she's speaking my language right here. So that looked cute. We've got The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong coming out on October 14th. And so this has a beautiful cover. The first book by her was Teller of Small Fortunes. And I can't remember if I think I have that on audiobook from Libro.fm. And this is very similar cover-wise, but it doesn't list it as being in a series. So I think this is another standalone, cozy, magical bookshop, like Friends evolution, low stakes. So that obviously is the vibe I'm going for October, or what the market is putting out that I've picked up so far. Yours for the Season, which is another holiday romance by Emily Stone. That was sort of at the bottom of the list, so I don't think she's as well known, but has a website, everything normal. So again, I'm not getting to the tiny producers. October 7th, that looked fun. We've got Dead and Breakfast, which is by a writing pair, Kat Hillis and Rosie Thor. It is about a bed and breakfast set in Oregon, and they are vampires. They're, I think, a queer couple vampires who are tired of the vampire gig, and they just want to settle down and be cozy and do cozy things. And so they do this in Oregon. And the cover's not great. It would not attract your eye then, but it looked really funny, and it sounded like it would be a pretty like smart, funny book. So that looked cool. And I like that one of the authors is in Oregon, so that was fun. And then the last one on my list was the paperback of Pony Confidential, which is a mystery by Christina Lynch, which is sort of a departure from her normal. It's coming out on October 14th. And I wasn't the producer, but in another interview that Hank did for Crime Time on A Mighty Blaze, she interviewed Christina Lynch for Pony Confidential, and she said it was a hoot. It was just hilarious. It was out of left field. It was just really funny. It's from the point of view of a pony who escapes whatever position it's in and finds its like girl, like its Black Beauty original owner. And the girl is now a woman, and she's like accused of murder, but the pony knows she didn't do it. So the pony has to like figure out the case. And it's just like, it sounds very, what's it called? Slapstick. That's what I'm thinking. So I bet that would be a funny mystery to read too. And that's kind of what I'm in the mood for October. Let's see. Oh, okay. Eva's got a poetry collection. In theory, I'm not sure what the in theory means. Maybe there would be additional things added. That could be fun. All right. Ghost Readers in the Sky. Greg says Joseph O'Malley's book came out yesterday, which is the channel that does the Shakespeare sonnets. And I can't remember the name of the channel right now. Not October. Wanted to get in a plug for Joe. Awesome. Oh, I almost had it. Nope. Someone else will tell me. Eva says, the holidays are so close. Yes, I love them, but they can take their time. Yeah. Rosie Thor rings a bell. Yes, and Rosie is spelled with 2 E's, so that might further set the name apart. Hello, Gareth. We're going over current reads from people in the chat, as well as potential October pre-orders. So I'm starting a new series where I pre-order books from local bookstores, highlight the bookstore, celebrate the author, and get input on which ones I'm choosing. It's 2 per month. So that's the new thing I'm starting. And I just read out 8 titles that are coming out in October. I might have to go with the ones coming out on the 7th and the 14th instead of the 21st so that I can order them and get them in time to do the little feature. Hopefully none of them will take as long as the thing that's happened with my first attempt from Green Feather. Greg says 2 title track. Thank you. Yes, it's a very cool title. I just haven't seen it in a while. All right, so Mojo says, tomorrow, my best friend's baby, a friends to lovers second chance romance. And I think you got to stop before confidence mindset in 30 days. Nice. So Genius links. That must be like a Bitly competitor. Awesome. Second chance romance. I mean, that is up my alley, but something with baby in the title kind of like is at war with the second chance part. But we'll see. We'll check it out. Gonna start that one. Ooh, Cat Paw says current read is The Weight of Ink by Rachel. Dang, I forgot it too. It is so good. I'm about halfway. It is so good. Speaking of like Shakespeare and the plague and literature, I loved that book when I read it several years ago. So I'm glad you're loving it as well. So one of the things I thought I could maybe get away with was stopping taking the allergy meds the first night that I had the new floor, because it's there instead of the carpet that catches all the cat stuff. But apparently that's not true. So I'm gonna have to take another little half pill for allergies tonight. Get back on the schedule. Oh well, it was worth a try. Still better than it was before. So for that, I am thankful. And then Monique next week, Obatala, Orisha of Purity and Power. So we've got another mystical supernatural. What's the age range on your Orisha series, Mojo? Is it adult or is it young adult? A Rockstar Secret Baby romance pre-order starts tomorrow, as well as Manifestation Mindset in 30 days. I prefer to start on the day the previous book comes out. That seems like a good plan because then you know, yeah, product. Very organized as expected. Garrett says, my current read is an old vintage sci-fi book, so not an inside bookstore thing. Yeah, I just picked up a book. So I just had over a week of not reading anything except the audiobook when I walked back and forth. But I just picked up last night old vintage Jane and Prudence by Barbara Pym, because it says it's a very funny novel, according to the New Yorker. So it's from, is it 1930s, 1950s? No. Wait. First Plume printing. Nope, that's not it. 1981, The Estate. When was it written? It starts taking place. I can't tell if it's the 30s or the 50s, but they're still in rations whenever it is. Anyway. Set in Oxford. So neat town. Interesting dynamics there. Monique says, I'm finishing up Murderous Fairies and Urban Fantasy. That sounds familiar, and I don't know if it's because you were talking about it a long time ago. Murderous Fairies. No, it's because Nicole has something with the similar idea. I don't know if it's the exact same phrase. So yeah, that's in my head. Jim says, Second Chance Romance. I read Our Song by Anna Carey in July. It's set in Ireland. The two former band members, one went on to a normal job, the other became a megastar, but they got together to finish the song. Is it good? Mojo says, I have the age as 18. So someone complains about their kids reading, I can say, says 18. Can't help if your child wants to learn. Gotcha. Okay. So there's, I would expect from that description some spice in it. The Orisha series. That's cool. Okay. And then Gareth says, I love Oxford. I know. That's why I mentioned that, because it was just a little transportation. I liked that last night when I was putting away all the books and getting sort of carried away. I needed to stop and get grounded. 1953. Thank you, Greg. I don't know why they can't put that in the front like a good publisher. They sort of hide it. Yes, Nicole's Bookish Nook. And the Murderous Fairies under Nicole Brona. Okay. Nice. Jim, you made my day today, says Gareth, in a big way. Yes, because the Brown Yelking was featured, which he mentioned up above in the chat, which is awesome. So I don't think we've heard from everyone in the chat about what they are reading. Since Jim had a What Are You Reading Wednesday, we could ask that. I've got mine. The other book that I've been reading as an audiobook is called, what is it called? Something about magical. It's by Gareth Brown. I know the author. And The Society of Unknowable Objects. I think that's an arc. It's interesting. And there are some plot things and some pacing things where I'm holding out my judgment, but the magic system is pretty cool and the action is really fun. So yeah. That's what I'm listening to. But you can tell I'm going for cozy and funny in my October possibilities. So if you have a title that is on pre-order and is going to come out in October that you think I would like to order, put it down in the comments below. And then we'll see what I narrow down to. YouTube only allows 4 for a poll, so I will have to narrow it down to 4 and post it. It's Wednesday, so I'll post it Friday. I'll do a live stream Friday and then post the poll. Jim says the Second Chance Romance was a 5-star read for me. Aoife at Pretty Purple Polka Dot channel is where I get my romance recs. Okay, awesome. Yeah, she's fun. I like her. And Jim says he's 15% into the book. Excellent. Gareth says I'm also reading a book of interviews with Ray Bradbury, which is great. Nice. You had a video a couple ago. I know you've had a few shorts that I haven't seen yet because they're about music, but you had a video a couple ago where you were talking about how you really want to get your number of books owned down and read what you own. And like you've done a lot of videos where you talk about hauls or what you have for like a tag or something. So I know you've got a lot of great Ray Bradbury to go through. Oh, speaking of that, one of the things that I was asking people for a while because I was curious was, in your library, what is the percentage of read to unread books? Like, what is your hovering percentage? What is your comfort level with, I've read these, I want to keep them because they're great, and I haven't read these, I have enough to feel like I have something to reach for in any genre? What do you think yours is? And have you verified it? I'm always curious about this because my sister and I are like flipped. I think I was 60-40 unread and she was 70-30 read, or maybe 80-20 read. So I was like, interesting. So Kira says, if you're enjoying it now, Jim, I'm sure you'll like the rest of it. Hope it's making you giggle. That would be a feat, seeing Jim giggle. Ooh, I haven't heard of this readathon, but Greg says for Cimmerian September, I finished just this morning Robert E. Howard's The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. What is Cimmerian September? And I don't know if I'm saying it right. It makes me think of the Cimarron, the plateau in the west. Jim says, I have liked all the books I've read by fellow booktubers so far, including Margaret's Keening series. Well, thank you. That's lovely to hear. In case you're curious about what people think about the Keening and all the other books I've written, including Orla, which I moved right in front of. I didn't position that right. There we go. Including Orla Rafferty. I've got a playlist on my playlist tab that shows all the booktubers who have posted reviews of the books, no matter what they said. So if you want to get a different book reviewed, you can take your pick and listen into other booktubers. Gareth says, I think my ratio is probably 30% read. Ooh, wow. Okay. Which is down to me getting excited and wanting to have them accessible to read. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got all my unread books shelved, and what I'm waiting to reshelve with about half or maybe between a third and a half of my books is all the read plus research. So yeah, more to a third if you count all the cookbooks. Ven says, I think I'm about 30% read. Okay, interesting. We won't talk about my ebook percentage. Fine. Yeah, I don't really get ebooks anymore. I'm more with Gareth. I only get ones that you can't get it any other way. Or, no, I guess that's it. You can't get it any other way. Cimmerian September is a Conan thing created by Michael K. Vaughan. Okay. Conan or Conan? Is it Conan O'Brien or is it Conan the Barbarian? I think those are pronounced differently. I want to make sure I don't misstep here. Got it. Thank you. Mojo says, sadly, I had to give away so many physical books, but with ebooks, I probably have about a dozen I haven't read yet and well over 100 read. Thank goodness I have a large SIM card in my tablet. Yes. And you heard me talk about 200 videos in my next secret project vlog. So I was worried that I couldn't take any more because my phone would fill up in the memory. So I not downloaded them. They're actually still there. Well, I didn't get rid of any of the space. Anyway, I airdropped them to the computer that I have to do my edits on. So 200 videos. We'll see how long the vlog is. Kara says, I'm hoping to lose another 500 books in the next few months, which is horrible. Well, yeah, I mean, it's the natural way of things. I've got the books here and I've got a bag that's like got 5 or 6. I've got some maybes that I'm not sure about keeping. But one little shelf that's already read that I kept that I did not pack away. But if I keep looking at a book and keep saying, well, I don't know, when am I going to read this? It's so pretty, Ben, but I don't know when I'm going to read this. Like, am I ever going to pick it up and read it? There's so many other choices. Life's too short, you know? Greg says, Robert E. Howard character Conan is from Cimmeria. Oh, okay. This is the land of Conan the Barbarian, I'm guessing. Michael K. Vaughan created Cimmeria in September to encourage people to read Robert E. Howard. So niche. Michael leads and people follow. That's great. Gare says, I've already got rid of boxes of books I wanted to keep. So, oh, that's rough. Yeah, you said like 10 boxes. And Elaine was talking about how it's like stasis. She's gotten rid of books, but then seems to always be at the same level. You've said something similar. I've said something similar. I don't know how it happens. They just creep back in. They crawl back in. I don't know. Eva stepped away and she's back. Why are we getting rid of books? Gareth doesn't have the room for it. So we were just talking about percentages of read versus unread. So yeah. Let's see. Do I have anything else on my list to update you? I'm using the hashtag Hot Indie Bookstore season. So Hot Indie Bookstore Fall, since we're now in fall. And I'm also going to use the hashtag do something because that is the point of this series. Pre-ordering stuff and helping bookstores and authors. Do you guys know why it helps authors to pre-order? I don't know if you just take it as the gospel truth or whether you like know the background. I think most of y'all are authors, so you probably do. Just in case you don't and you're listening to this, pre-orders are a promise to buy the book, but you don't pay for it yet. So it basically, it lets the publisher know how many books to print if you're published with someone else, or it lets the author know how many books they're going to sell and need to direct ship if you're doing that. It should also tell you where the demand is, and if you're like big enough, it will give you a big bump so that maybe you get a banner for bestseller on Amazon or like a USA Today bestseller if you sell enough books within certain markets. So it's really helpful for some authors with visibility and other authors with planning. So that's why pre-orders are important. Yeah, Gareth says, I don't have the room, and it's kind of selfish because my wife hates having books everywhere. I think probably it's like disorganized piles everywhere, right? If it was like a beautiful bookshelf, maybe not so bad. What's her hobby? Does she go out and do something like full throttle, something that she's really into? Quality over quantity, I suppose. Yeah. First week sales. Yeah. Jocelyn also stepped away. Let's see. And Mojo says, when you go from a 3-bedroom house with an office to a 1-bedroom apartment, books and DVDs were the first to go. My daughter got about 4,500 DVDs from me. I still have close to 2,000. Oh my goodness. Wow. Movie hound. That's so cool. I don't think I've known anyone with a DVD collection that big. CDs, records, books, but not DVDs. That's really cool. So like you're the movie person to talk to. I didn't realize that. Now I know. Eva says, we went from apartment dwelling to a house too big for us. I need to declutter, but books will keep their room. Gotcha. For as long as the room is available. Holy heck, that's a ton of movies. Yeah, it is. That's pretty cool. I guess DVD covers aren't as big as books. They're thinner, but still 2,000 to keep is a lot of room. It's probably equivalent to 1,000 books, which is what I have. So yeah, that makes sense. All right, so I went through that. Titles, call for titles, poll for titles, the last 4, and then results of the poll and feature the bookshop. So that'll be my like 3 things during the month as a segment during my live stream. So hopefully that'll go well. If I need to adjust, I will adjust. Like I said, the first one was a fail. So I'm learning, obviously, as we go. And yeah, new schedule. That's the other announcement. Instead of Sundays and Wednesdays, in case anyone was used to me being on Sundays and Wednesdays, I'm switching it up to Wednesdays and Fridays. So that will be my new deal. We'll see if it works in September. Again, we're just experimenting here, but Wednesdays and Fridays on 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll see how that works. But yeah, cozy and comedy. That's what we're going for October. Let me know if you've got title names, and we'll just finish up with like chatting for the day. Eva says, cleaning my library is content now, so maybe it'll get done. Ha. Oh, you just reminded me of library thing, and I can see how many books I own and how many of those I've read. Oh, cool. So yeah, counting if you want to get that detailed about it. Garrett's counted and then estimated some, so close enough, right? As my brother-in-law has now instilled in my head, good enough for government work. That's what he kept saying when we were putting the floor in. Moltco Library. So I think this is the first time in over a year, maybe more, that I have no library books in my house. So I just wanted to document that by looking at my checked out and seeing it say 0 and taking it. Yeah, look at that. Boop. So I just took a picture. I've got some on hold that I paused because I didn't want to bring any more books into the apartment. So it's just crazy because I had like 20 books checked out and a lot of them were renewed for like 12 times, 16 times. I don't know. I assume that happens at most libraries now because of technology and the pandemic. But Gara says she's entrenched. Oh, yeah, you were talking about that with Marcy because Marcy went to see a music producer whose name I don't remember. It was a strange name. It sounded more like English words instead of names. She's entrenched in the Prince community and is having our spare room to fill with Prince memorabilia and stuff. For example, she has over 200 Prince tees. Oh my God. Well, that's an obsession. Yeah. So you guys are evenly matched. So I'm glad there's no power differential. You've got books and she's got Prince. Like, fair is fair. Oh my gosh. Mojo says they used to call me Blockbuster. They're in slim and multi cases. Oh yeah, multi cases, like my Lord of the Rings. Nice. That's funny. Blockbuster. Eva says these are such cool things to know about you all. Lol. Close to 20 gigabytes of music on my NAS. I'm not sure what that is. Probably a player. Music, movies, and books are my faves. Yeah. Your wife published a book about Prince? Well, that's an important side note. Big deal. That's pretty awesome. Mojo says, wow, that's very cool. Jam, is it Jam and Lewis? Is that what they were saying? Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Thank you. Catpot knows too. Catpot was there with like the woo when the names were mentioned, and I was clearly like outclassed by all the Prince fans. Left behind. Jam and Lewis, who worked with Prince when he was a teenager. Yeah, that's pretty epic. That's pretty epic. And she wrote a comment later on a post that said it was amazing. So I'm so glad. That sounded like a fun treat yourself on the weekend kind of deal. Yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah, Cat Paw is also here. Network attached storage, my own personal cloud. Oh, wait, is this a way to get around Amazon Web Services? Network attached storage. Greg, is this a viable option for peasants? Let's see what he has to say. But I'll go through the banners now since I forgot to put them up. There we go. Any questions? We had our chatty portion. Any upcoming events? I don't have any upcoming events. I just have normal streams Wednesdays and Fridays in September. So you'll see this series play out. But let me know if you guys have them. We know Mojo has 2 books coming out tomorrow, which is fab. But I'll leave that up until we close it out. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, so Gara says I've also got thousands of CDs and musical instruments. Wow. I have 2 tin flutes. Does that count? I need somewhere where I can well, I won't say it in case my mom is watching. I was gonna talk about her banjo, but then it wouldn't be a surprise. It's storage, network attached storage. So it is like a mini player. It's just a huge mini player. So then maybe not. Well, I mean, it's just like a backup drive then, maybe. Not thousands of instruments. Haha. Yeah, I figured. Yeah. Eva says, today's my cat's gotcha day. What does that mean? The day the cat found you? Greg says, I'd leave NAS to the professionals like Gareth. Well, Monique is obviously a professional because she just drops the name like I should know it, and I don't. So you're all above my pay grade. Yay. Okay, so we've seen you singing. I need to see you playing the tin flute now. Well, that's one of the things I got to start, and I haven't. So yeah, I need to get on that. Yeah, tin whistle. Sorry, penny whistles. The day the cat forced himself into my life. Yes, the gotcha day. I didn't realize it was called that. The day the cat distribution system delivered your feline companion, in other words. Okay, Mojo says, yes, it's external storage, but I can access it through all my computers. Network attached storage. The title makes sense now. Thank you for explaining that. Okay, so it's not just a hard drive or external hard drive. It's a hard drive that is connected via a network. That makes sense now. Happy Gotcha Day. Well, my Gotcha Day is New Year's Day, so that makes it pretty easy to remember. I was actually, for some weird reason, in the fog between sleep and awake this morning or last night, whichever, thinking about what sign Bean must be, and he's either a Taurus or a Scorpio. I think he's probably Scorpio. So I was just wondering about celebrating his birthday, and I'm like, yeah, I bet it's a Scorpio. I'll just choose a day in October. Celebrate. Because I'm not going to do it on New Year's Day. Cat Process. I have a lot of music on vinyl and tape. Several thousands at Dad's and on external hard drives here. Tape, you say? Tape? Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I have probably like a dozen tapes. Yeah, cassette tapes and a tape player. I surprised my sister and brother-in-law by pulling those out. That was fun. Gareth says, I'm meeting my first years tomorrow and hoping the trombone player has committed to our college. Oh. Can they pull out and go somewhere else that late date? I suppose you can always change schools. Yeah. That would be excellent. Get the band rounded out. Monique says, today is my oldest cat's birthday. She's 16. And yesterday the boys turned 2. Yeah, Bean's like 13-ish. Greg has 3 tin whistles. Oh, man. All right, well. Maybe you'll have to send me homework. I've got a booklet. I just haven't used it. Gareth says, I just nicked a tape recorder from work because we found the cassettes I made of my daughter's first words. Oh my gosh. That's special. Make sure you have a pen or a pencil to put in if it warbles the cassette. Be careful with that. That's fun. Yeah, I'll give it back in case the boss is watching. Yeah. Mine's just like this big, and it's got like a cord going out for power. An AC cord, I guess. Super simple. Yeah, there's a small movement, a small trend on TikTok that I've seen where people are like, where do we go now for music since Spotify's crap and they're doing all this BS and this kind of thing? People are like, we're going back to torrent. And I'm like, I looked into torrent. I'm like, I can't, that's too technical. I'm lost, right? But personal music carriers, what do they call them? The one generation is MP3 players, and another generation, my generation, would be Walkmans, Discmans, that kind of thing. I had like 3 of those. Apparently, I did a lot of sorting. We have all this like various oddball camera, digital camera, like generations that we went through, equipment, and then players like Discmans, Walkmans, headphones, all that kind of stuff. And I had it laid out in my brother's old room at my parents' house because I was trying to sort through all their stuff. And I wasn't sure what to do with it, right? Because like it might work, didn't know what went with what. And apparently my nephew visited this summer and he's like, oh, I'll take that. So we went home with one of them, which is great. I'm glad it's getting used again, you know? Oh, very cool. Okay. So Greg's got a hidden talent that is now revealed. He plays in a band on Monday nights on his tin whistle. That's amazing. Okay, the reason I got the tin whistles from my parents' house, where they've been for 20 years, is that was the first thing you have to learn before you try to attempt the Ellen pipes, the elbow pipes. And I thought, well, okay, I can start on this before I go to that. And that was a couple of years ago now, so. Cat Paw says, clean it first before you put a precious tape in, just to make sure. Right, exactly. Good advice. Mojo says, I just went back to torrent. Yeah, well, you can handle it, obviously. I went and looked at the explanations for how it works and how you have to like put in, I don't know. It just was confusing. So yeah, good shout. Good advice. Thanks. Gareth says, I loved my iPods. One still works, but I need better headphones. Speaking of iPods, I just saw a little clip during a podcast this morning that I listen to every morning, and it was from someone, or is adjacent. It was from someone who was reporting on the iPhone. He held up the iPhone and he said, yeah, Steve Jobs is a genius, but like there's thousands of researchers' work that went into this. There's articles published from universities about technology and science, and taking away university funding means that we wouldn't have more technology breakthroughs like the iPhone. So don't do it, assholes. Just a good message. So stop threatening our universities' basic science research, because once you stop a study, you cannot just start it again because you've thrown out all the data because it's not continuous. Learn some scientific method. Mojo says, used to be MIRC, but it's been years, so my son walked me through torrent. Oh, okay, so you've switched methods. The student has become the master. That's fun. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I'm going to walk you through the new method. That's the great arrangement right there. Gary says, I have 12,000 songs on my iPod. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I stopped glorying in the size of my library when I realized I wasn't listening to a lot of the songs, and I just wanted the sort of last little bit. And also because the syncing was like weird. Excuse me. The iPhoto syncing got weird. The iMusic syncing got weird. They changed the programs. They just mess with your shit, and I don't like it. Greg says, I started as a saxophone and clarinet player. Wow, that's so cool. I put all the instruments on the shelf years ago. Then about 2 years ago, I bought my first tin whistle, and I love it. That's amazing. Saxophone and clarinet. So in the band, you do tin whistle instead of the other instruments. Man, that's fun. Mojo says, Mark is an internet relay chat. Okay, movies, books, and music available. Probably athwart of any copyright laws. That's all right. Jim says, I left all my vinyl when I moved to Georgia. Is it in storage? Is it somewhere in England? Are you paying for storage, or is it a friend's house or something? I had to buy more whistles so I could play in different keys. Ah, yes. Mine are in 2 different keys. That's true. Eva says vinyl is so expensive now. Or if you're in Portland, it's on table sales in artsy neighborhoods, and it's going for $5 a pop. But you got to know what you're looking for. Jim says, now I just listen to music on YouTube. I do that. Gets a little annoying when the ads come in. Is Georgia an ad-free country like Rwanda is, or no? I don't know if you've mentioned that before. But yeah, I get ads. I get ads on Pandora Radio, which used to be pretty good. I've been on twice where I didn't have to listen to ads, but they still have like curator messages and platform messages, and I'm like, you guys are being real sneaky there. Just stop. Just the music, please. So I got off of that again. Catpaw says, I can recommend Sound Peats. Can't remember the model, but I'll find it if you want. Is that a player or a service or a method? Eva says, same to Jim. Gareth says, I transferred my CDs to the iPod so I could listen out and about. So I still buy CDs and put them on the iPod. And then do you get rid of the CDs, or do you store them just in case? It's the just in case that gets you, right? Mojo says to Gareth, I had a thumbnail drive with 5 hours of music for my car. Every now and then I'll pop it into my computer. Yeah. Yeah. Thumbnail drive. So you need a car with a thumbnail insert. So the weird thing is my dad, with the cars over the years, has a car with a CD player, a car with a tape player, a car with the thumbnail drive, car with a what's USB-C drive. Like, it gets crazy. So it's hard to update to keep it all accessible. Nice. How do you think I get my operating systems for my computer? Jim says, I gave my vinyl to a friend. I have nothing in storage. That's the way to go, I think. Oh, okay. So Cat Paw Sound Peats. Okay, Cat Paw is like a sound engineer. So this is a good recommendation for headphones / earbuds. Excellent. Gareth says, I keep them. I'm passionately pro physical media. Yes. Yes. You and I are on the same wavelength about the physical books and not ebooks. I will read an ebook or a PDF if I must. I just was looking for a Grace Draven book and realized she's only through Amazon. So that's kind of sad. I really liked her first book, but Ava says, we have CDs and still use the CD player in the car on long drives. Yeah. We store the bulk, but go through them every so often for the road trips. Nice. I still have a spindle that I picked up from my parents' house from the 90s or maybe early 2000s of blank CDs. And every once in a while, I make a mixtape CD as a gift, and it's lasted me 20 years. So that I don't know if you guys know the spindle I'm talking about, like a spindle of blank CDs. It's probably like 20, and I just do one every couple of years. It's so funny. It's like the never-ending blank CD spindle. Jim says, we have ads on YouTube. I just get used to skipping. Yeah. The problem is often when I'm listening to YouTube music, I'm like doing stuff like I'm cooking or I'm washing dishes. And so then I like stop, turn the tap off, wipe my hands, come over, skip the thing, and it's already gone 10 seconds, and then go back. It's like, if it's doing this every 5 minutes, it's not really worth listening. So then it gets frustrating. Oh, I gave away most of my cassettes to my mate, and I regret it. Well, obviously, you just need to challenge them to a poker game and work up to putting all the cassettes that you gave to them in the pool, in the kitty, and win. That's the only way to get it back. That is a free novel idea right there. Greg says, my first car had an 8-track player. Here you go. Yeah, we still have a car in the family that is a 69 Chevy van, and it's a tape player. So I don't know how old your car must have been to have an 8-track player. Wasn't that before cassettes? So that's a used car, I would presume. Yeah, Mojo says, damn. Eva says 8-tracks were replaced too fast. I loved them as a kid for some reason. Okay, and this is beyond my memory. We have an 8-track player up in the attic, but I never used them, had one, listened to them, etc. Missed out. They were already outdated then, but I had an old player. Okay. So you're getting closer to my age. You're not that far, so that's why. Gareth says, I liked making CD compilations for car drives, but my wife loves sticking the radio on. Interesting. Do you guys ever listen to stories, like books on tape, books on audio, on car drives? Happy medium? Keeping the harmony in the house? Mojo says, my dad had loads of them. Got me thinking about Jim Croce playing. That's cool. 8-tracks, I guess. Or if you can afford it, Marshall is nice too. Both a lot more affordable than Bose. Oh, yeah. What are mine? Mine are not Bose. They're Beats. So it's like the ones from Dr. Dre. And like this is all peeling off, but the sound, oh, there we go. The sound is still fine. So occasionally I'll wear them and then take them off and have like these big black marks on my ears, and I'm like, what's on my ear? And then I realize it's part of the vinyl coming off. Literally disintegrating. But you know, if they had a place to go repair them, I would, but they don't. They're Apple. So Gareth says, to be fair, sometimes there are some funny DJs, etc. Yeah, I just feel like radio these days is mostly a hustle. So but on Pandora, on my walk back the other day, I did have a Pink song come on. It's Don't Try to Hustle Me. Such a good song. And I had forgotten about it. So there you go. Doesn't matter how you listen as long as it's Bemis. That's his band. There you go. Mojo says, I have half a spindle of blank DVDs. I'll get back to it. Want Wednesday in my collection. Wednesday Addams, the series, the seasons, I guess. Love the poker game idea. Love Wednesday. We had my mother's reel to reel. Yes, that's what's up in the attic. That I think I was so afraid to break whenever I was up there. It's a pretty impressive looking machine. Audiobooks are a lovely idea, but it's time you could spend listening to music. Yeah, it's hard when you got competing hobbies. I get it. Hey, Dee Dee. Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. We're just chatting. We're just chatting about collections and preferences and all this kind of stuff. So nice to see you. I had to give myself a break. I was watching both seasons every other day, but I need to work. So I guess you're talking about Wednesday Addams. And then Gareth replied, I've got a list of TV I'm trying to get to. Hee hee. Well, you're ahead of me then, because I wanted to just relax and watch something, and I turned on like 3 different movies / series and was just like, no, it's so disappointing. So I do not have a ready list. I have my list on Netflix, which is the only subscription I have, which is my family's. And yeah, it's failing me. So that's why I watch so many YouTube videos, because you guys are more interesting. Mojo says, get covers for them. I bought a pack of ear covers for $10 on Amazon. Ear covers. This is like little, like scrubs for your shoes, like shoe covers, but ears. I wonder where you would get those off of Amazon. I tried calling around to different sound stores when I was trying to record my audiobook, which is a fail. But none of them seemed particularly interested in a single customer. So ear covers. Well, I'll put that on my... I don't know where I would find those. Cuppa loves Wednesday as well. I feel you. Yep. Morticia Addams is my wallpaper on my phone. The 60s actress, Carolyn Jones. Yeah. Icon. Very nice. Jim says, my granddaughter, age 12, listens to some 80s and 90s tunes like the Cranberries, the Clash, Blondie, interspersed with new stuff. I have no clue about it. Well, that's fun. That's fun. I was just thinking about how I got into the Beatles when I was in high school and how it was a neat kind of link for my dad and my mom to share. Wednesday was really good. Yeah, I just got overwhelmed with all the dance trends on TikTok, and I was turned off. But what's her name? Jenna Ortega? No, that's a different actress who looks kind of like her, I think. Anyway, haven't watched it. Gareth says, I had to change my phone, and she's still there with Kate Bush on the login screen. Okay. I've got Pretty Flowers on the lock screen, and what do I have on my... Oh, moss from Scotland. So this is a special kind of lichen in among the moss, which has got little teeth. So I like that little reminder on my phone. Jim says, I knew Carolyn Jones' stepdaughter. That's fun. Fun bit of trivia. That's awesome, says Gareth. Yeah, just get the ear covers on Amazon. So much cheaper. Pretty Flowers works too. Yep. Thank you. And then Mojo's supplying the link for anyone else who wants ear covers and is in the same predicament. Gareth, you like Kate Bush? I mean, she had a bit of a renaissance with the Running Up the Hill song because of TikTok, I'm pretty sure, because I didn't know about her before. 100 ear covers for $12. Yeah. I think the reason they started doing this was because I was trying to run with them. And then, of course, my ears will get sweaty and degrade the material. So your catchphrase? Wait, is this a thing? Is that you like Kate Bush? Is that a thing? Okay, maybe I missed that. Okay. My granddaughter likes Kate Bush because her song was on Stranger Things. Is that the Running Up the Hill song? I would imagine. Okay. So maybe it was popularized on Stranger Things, which does reach back to a bunch of 80s culture, and then TikTok grabbed it. Okay, gotcha. Yes, I know you like Kate Bush. I just wasn't familiar with Greg asking the question. All right, getting back to the banner helps here. Are we celebrating any upcoming events that we haven't covered already? And then we'll sign out because it's been an hour and I don't want to go further than an hour in terms of time slots and thinking of the day. Let's see. Just do a search for Beats ear covers and you get an abundance of authors, not only Amazon. Okay, thank you, Cat Paw. I'll just try searching. Eva says, Google's Kate Bush. Okay, Eva knows who Kate Bush is. I'm sure, right? My headphones are on about 12 hours every day. Oh my God, especially with all the product in my hair. Wow, okay. I was like, why would I need 100? Okay, all right, well, I'll check it out. Thanks, you guys, for the advice. Kate Bush sang on Peter Gabriel's Games Without Frontiers. Is that an album? I assume that's an album because I know who Peter Gabriel is because he's been on movie soundtracks that I've listened to. There's our Lost thing. Did you see that? I saw your thumbnail with Lost with you in with the other characters, but I did not watch that video yet. Events in September include October, which I know, and Shorty September, which I tried to tell my colleagues about yesterday, and they didn't really catch on. But yes, excellent. Yes, Booktube events, but no particular channel events. Okay, then I'm going to call it. Thank you guys for joining me for this chatty portion, this chatty catch-up. And hopefully I'll get some people giving me some other titles or weighing in if they're excited about any of the 8 that I mentioned back around the 20-minute mark. But if you've got titles that will be on pre-order for an October release that are in paperback that I can order from an indie bookstore, give me the suggestions. That'd be awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you for helping me with this transition into a more quiet September. And I'll see you again on Friday with a tag. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Happy reading and take care of yourselves, everybody.